everyone, welcome back to the madness. This is my first face video. Hi! So today I wanted to talk to you about what I did last weekend, and it's something that none of us have been able to do in over a year, and that is I went to the movies. I went to the movie theater, and I finally got to see a movie I've been waiting to see forever, it feels like, and also I got to see another one. So that's right, not only did I see one movie that day, I saw two. So I wanted to talk to you about at least one of them that I saw. And first off, I want to say I'm at work. I'm on my lunch break, so I apologize if the lighting's weird or if there's some background noises. There's not much I can do about it. And I don't know how to edit. I've told you that before. So thanks for watching anyway. So the first movie I went and saw was The Quiet Place Part 2. And if you don't know, The Quiet Place Part 2 was supposed to come out last, I think it was March. And the movie was paused because that's when COVID started shutting down. It was like supposed to come like the week or two after everything started shutting down. So instead of going to like the HBO or to Apple TV or something like that, they decided to wait. They stopped production and they wanted to wait until the theaters were back open. And even though it was a disappointment I didn't get to see it right away when we knew it was supposed to be coming out, I actually appreciated that they waited, because that kind of movie is something that you need, that movie theater immersement. So you need like the quiet people with you. Like there was like 5 people in my theater, so it wasn't that big a deal. But you need that like surround sound. You need like the no distractions. Because that movie, if you don't know, this goes for A Quiet Place Part 1 and A Quiet Place Part 2. Silence is important. And this movie is either you hear noise or the lack of noise. And it quite often jumps from one or the other. So it's two different extremes. It's either really loud or there's no noise at all. There's no like quiet noises in a quiet place, believe it or not. If you don't know anything about the first movie, it is about this family who was navigating through, let's call them aliens. They never really say what they are, but they are creatures that are blind, and they attack things that cause noise. They don't really say where they come from. It's implied that they came from space. We don't really know that. And basically, if you make any noise at all, that's a chance to get you killed. So, and I don't think they're killing you to eat you. I think they're killing you just to kill you, because it's like they have like these razor sharp arms and they can just, and you're like dead, like with one swipe. And these things are huge. You didn't get to really see them in Part 1 that much, but you actually get to see the creatures a little bit more in Part 2, which some would say was a good move, because we didn't see much in the first movie, which I thought it was a good move that we didn't see them very much in the first movie, because it kind of left to that mystery of it, like these creatures. You did get to see them towards the end. You didn't know anything about them, so that was cool. It was kind of like Signs in a little bit, the movie with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix of Signs, because you don't really get to see the aliens, but you get to see them enough that you get the point. And that's kind of like with Part 1. Part 2, you do get to see them a little bit more, which I thought was cool. I could have take it or leave it. I was fine. Some people, I think, were a little disappointed in that. I don't know. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers, because it's a new movie. I don't want to give too many spoilers. So I'll try not to, but just know that you're treading on some iffy ground here if you don't want any spoilers at all. But I won't talk too much. The first movie starts with, we're like in the middle of this situation. So things have happened where, like, I think it's been like a year since this started. So it's been a learning process for this family, but they figured it out. Noise causes these problems. You even see like a newspaper clipping, which, question, how, okay, so these are my complaints about the first movie. Let's get them out of the way. How did they get newspaper clippings to tell them that it's noise that causes them to attack you? Wouldn't the newspaper machine cause noise? just a question. And also, they have crops in their field, corn crops. How did it get planted? And who's gonna harvest it? And yeah. Duh, Sarah, it could have been planted before the creatures came. Yeah, good point. However, according to the days, that corn should have been already germinated enough that is going to get harvested. And it shouldn't be as lusciously green and be producing the corn as much as it is in the part 1. If it's been over a year, it should be like dead and very crunchy sounding, so they can't hide it as much as they did. Just thoughts, gotta get that out there. Yes, they could have, I guess, hand grew them, but let's be honest, no. If you saw their field, they did not go Little House on the Prairie and do it all by themselves, and they still would have made noise. So there's some questions on noise level with this movie. It's not very clear what noise is too much and what noise isn't enough. So put that aside. So in part 1, they leave the movie off as they figured how to defeat the creatures. They only kill one, and like I'm assuming there's like millions of them everywhere. They managed to destroy one of the creatures. Using the daughter, who is deaf's cochlear implant, so the device that helps her hear. She complains about it on and off throughout the movie that it doesn't work properly, and it just makes this like high-pitched noise that you would hear like if grandma had her hearing aid on and like it's out of range or something. So that's what it always does. So she complains about that, and they end up using that on a microphone to cause these creatures who can only hear because they're blind to go basically nuts because their ears are so sensitive. And so they are able to take their shells away because they're like, ah, and then they shoot them. So when we leave the first movie, they're leaving their home because their home is on fire, and part of their house is on fire. The other part of their like safety bunker is being flooded. So they're just a mess, right? So this woman, who her husband just died, she just had a baby, literally just had a baby, and she's loading her family up, and she's going. She doesn't know where she's going, but she's going because there's nowhere safe in their area right now to go. And more creatures are like on their way to their home because they've been very noisy over there with their shotgun. You do what you gotta do, I guess. So in part 2, it basically picks right off from where it ended. Now when I say that, it does give you like a little of a flashback at the beginning, which I did appreciate because I did like that. They start on day 1, which is something they did not do in the first movie. They actually give you what it was like on day 1 when things started happening. And you're like amazed by the fact that like this town is actually moving around. It's not a apocalypse looking town. They have cars, they have baseball games going on, and it shows things like little references to like the first movie. Like if you've seen the first movie, you know what I mean when I say the importance of the rocket ship. You see that in the first movie, and you don't, for the husband to see that walking past it casually, not realizing that that one toy is going to create such pain in his life, is interesting to me. I liked that nod. Good job. But it shows like a news broadcast, which kind of brings questions to me about, I'm noticing my lighting is going in and out, so I apologize about that. It caused more questions to me than answers. There is part of the flashback that they're showing that there was, I think they said it was a terrorist attack. I don't remember exactly. It was so quick, but it was a terrorist attack going on in a different country, and I forget what country. And they were watching it on the news, and we were half watching it because that's what the main character was doing. He was only half paying attention, so we didn't get to really see much about it. And So it doesn't say if the terrorist attack was actually these creatures attacking that area of a different country, or if that's a different isolated event. We don't know for sure. I do plan on seeing it again, and I might be able to pay attention to that just a little bit more to see what like the little blurb on the news screen says, because it was a small TV too. And see, but so it doesn't really answer the question. Maybe it suggests, but I don't know. Is this something that's only happening in this area? Is this something that's happening, I'm guessing, in the entire United States, because of the fact that there is pretty much no disconnection between any of those areas, so they're probably all over the US. But are they in Russia? Are they in Israel? Are they in China? I don't know. Are they in Antarctica? I don't know. But we don't know that. And I guess it's okay that we don't know that, because probably the main characters don't know that. So we know as much as they do. There's not often that we know more than them. So I guess it makes sense that we wouldn't know. So I really enjoyed the moments where they were using sign language and they were communicating with each other using that. And of course, as viewers, you get subtitles. You can understand what they're saying. I enjoy movies with sign language in it. So it's always been close to me since part 1 came out that there is sign language movies. And they're introducing and normalizing sign language in movies and in TV and with people who are disabled in their hearing. So their daughter is deaf. So this family has had an advantage of using sign language before this happened. So it's a quiet way to communicate. So a lot of it is they're talking, they're mouthing their words, or they're talking very low, or they are just using sign language. And I think it's really cool. I appreciate that inclusion. And I appreciate that the actress who plays their daughter who is deaf is actually deaf in real life. So they didn't pull a music by Sia and just have a random person. They actually have someone that understands that lifestyle and understands that role and is actually teaching the group in real life sign language so they can communicate on set. I thought it interesting to find out that Emily Blunt, who plays the wife, who is actually married to the director, did not want to do a part 2. She apparently was kicking and screaming. She did not want to do it. She thought that part 1 left in such an unknown situation that it was good, but I'm glad that she did part 2, because I think that it closed some doors that they left open, but part 2 also left some doors open that suggest there might be a part 3. I don't know if there's really going to be a part 3. I guess they could. They've introduced some new characters to the group so that there can be more storyline to go. However, I don't know. They left it to where they could if they wanted to. I really did appreciate, like I said before, like the use of noise and lack thereof noise. When the girl who is deaf has her emotional moment, she's going through this physical pain. Like maybe we would like scream or we would sob loudly. For her, she doesn't create any noise because she can't hear herself. So she just like is doing like this, and she's just like, you can just see her pain. She's such a great actress. She did great. The other thing I liked about it was because there can be chaos going on behind her, and she has no clue. No clue that there's anything going on until someone actually has noticed her, like, go like this and, like, go like that. And she's like, oh. So I like that. If I was going to give the movie a 0 to 10, 10 being the best movie ever, 8, 7.5, 8. That's about the same I give the first movie. I feel like it ended abruptly. I feel like it could have had a little bit more closure to it. There was a goal in the movie, and they met that goal. That's great. But it's basically like, and we're here, and we did it, and stop. That's what it felt like. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too strict on the movie. I don't know. But I felt like they had over a year to fix things or add things to it. I felt like they could have added just a little bit more to that. But that's just me being picky. I did like it. I'd see it again. I'd see it again so I could see, like, different things that I've missed. It's funny, I have said some things and I can't even remember now if I've said them in this video or like the 6 other attempts of recording this. So I feel like I've talked about everything I want to talk about, but I feel like I haven't at the same time. So there might be a follow-up to this one if I think more about it. It's worth seeing. Like I said, I'd see it again. I don't think that there will be a part 3, just because I think they're going to leave it at that. And I'd love to see this director, because this is his first time, forgive me, I forget his name, Kaminsky or something. This is like his only second directing of a movie that he did, and that's because The Quiet Place Part 1 was his first one. So I'd like to see that director branch out some more. I'd like to see what he has in mind for movies. Something else I have like a lot of questions about, there was moments when the baby would be creating noise. So the mom created like a basket, basically a box that was able to muffle the baby's noise, but she had to have oxygen with her so she could put it over top of the baby so the baby wouldn't suffocate in the box. And she only took 1 tank with her. And it felt like they traveled for days on foot trying to find somewhere safe to be. It felt like forever. And she's able to go back in 1 day and go get more oxygen tanks from the pharmacy that they just started at in the beginning of part 1. So, I don't know. That was something that was constantly a thought in my mind, is what are you going to do when the baby's too big for that? What are you going to do when you can't calm the baby down? What are you going to do when they're a defiant 2-year-old who doesn't care because he doesn't understand the finality of death? Some people say, well, they would figure it out pretty quick that it's important and things like that. Yes, but no. Because at 2, you don't realize that death's final. So, I don't know. I feel like it'd be interesting, but I don't know if I necessarily want it to be literally leaving off where part 2 ended. I kind of want like a time jump. I either want to see in between part 1 and part 2, so like day 2 and on, that leads to part 1, maybe see that, or part 3 would be just like, it's been a little bit, and it's like the baby's a little bit older, but how did you get there? I don't know. I guess part 3 would still have to leave off where they left off. I don't know. Not my job to really worry about it. But anyway, I feel like I just rambled through this whole video, but I liked it. And I think you guys should try it out. If you've not seen part 1, definitely see that before you see part 2, because you will have no clue what's going on. I did like how they did answer some questions, but it kind of opened up to a little bit more, which I feel like that is a good problem, though, because that is something that a director wants you to do. They want you to have some things answered, give you a little bit, but then they're going to take some back. So if they give you a bit, take it back. Give you a bit, take it back. And kind of like the characters. So it's like, we're going to give you a win here, but oh, this is going to happen. Yeah, you can have that, but I think that's a good idea. So let me know if you've seen it, if you're going to see it, what you thought about it, and I hope I didn't spoil it too much. I will see you guys later, and maybe I'll talk about my next movie. I went and saw Cruella, so I want to talk about her. She's getting up there and one of my favorite villains, and that was not someone that was my favorite villain. So, hey, let's check out Cruella next. Bye!